I'm going to do that again because it seems to irritate some people. So, I didn't have a video prepared for today, and I'm sorry about that. Work's been a little busy. It's getting warm out, and as some people notice, when it gets warm out, people start going a little silly, and I start being pretty busy at work. I do have a bunch of educational videos, like, kind of lined up, and some talking videos that I have for, like, the Thursday stuff, but I'm kind of getting behind on doing gear review videos. I know not everybody loves the gear review videos, so some people are going to be upset about that. I do have some stuff in the works for the future, for gear stuff, but they're kind of bigger. They're bigger projects. I've got a helmet to blow up or whatever I'm going to do with that, and like a backup brace and some flashlights and stuff like that to do. But today, for Cop Talk Live, we're going to do a little PSA about the 4th of July. And you would think, being a cop and coming from Illinois, where fireworks are mostly illegal, I would be saying, hey, make sure, don't be playing with fireworks, and, don't be going and getting fireworks, and don't be letting kids anywhere near them, and all that stuff. I don't set a real high standard. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to set any standards for people that are higher than the standards that I set for myself, in and out of work, right? So, let's set a real low standard for the firework PSA, right? If everyone could just stop shooting aerial shells at each other's houses, like it's artillery, that would be great, right? Especially when you're doing it maliciously. You know what I mean? If you could just not shoot Roman candles at cars as they drive by, or throw black cats in the windows of people's cars when they drive by, that would be awesome. I'd really like to not have another year where I have to deal with somebody that had their car lit on fire because someone threw black cats at it as it was driving past their house, right? Like, let's not go crazy, because even in the places that fireworks are completely illegal, everyone has them, right? Like, there's fireworks going off right now, and I'm not in my neighborhood. I'm in Burbank, at a relative's house for 4th of July, and they're completely illegal here, and you're like 15, 20 miles from the border of Indiana where you can get them, and everyone has them, right? There's people blowing off fireworks all over the place, right? But could we not light things on fire with them? Like, that's all I ask. That's me personally. Not the department, not the state, not the city. They've all got their own rules and regulations and stuff for fireworks. But could you please just not launch them at each other, right? Especially the aerial shells. Like, people put the aerial shells at a 45-degree angle and launch them over their neighbor's house, especially if it's the neighbor they know is going to get pissed off about the fireworks or calls about the fireworks all the time. Please just don't do that. That's all I ask. Just don't burn each other's houses down. Don't light the cars on fire. Don't light little Susie's sweater on fire and have her run around the neighborhood lit on fire, and then we got to go there and put her out and load her in the back of the ambulance. That's all I ask. And now I got to turn my air conditioner back on because it is really, really hot in here. People complained about the audio in the other one, so I wanted to at least get part of it in without the air conditioner in the background. I don't even know how long that was. Probably only 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Hey, look, I figured out how to do it. Alrighty. So let's go back and read comments. Hi, and hi, yo. How do you handle fireworks when responding? Well, here's the thing. The laws here make fireworks, completely verboten, right? Unless you have an explosives license. Even if you have an explosives license, it's only the 1-3 fireworks. It's only the really big fireworks that are legal if you have an explosives license, right? But all the 1-4 fireworks and stuff, the consumer-grade fireworks, most of those are completely illegal. But the thing is, everyone has them. Everyone has them because all the states around us sell them. And if you drive down I-80 or I-294, which is the big expressways down the south side of Chicago, or the south end of Cook County, the Cutler counties down here, Crazy Kaplan's and a bunch of other places have signs up for their fireworks stores from 30 miles out all the way to the border in Indiana, right? So everyone has them. People drive to Indiana, they load up trucks full of fireworks, and they bring them back, and they shoot them off. And the vast majority of people hurt absolutely no one with them, right? What making fireworks illegal does is it makes it really easy for a cop coming at 2 o'clock in the morning to be like, it's over, it's 2 a.m. And if somebody goes, ah, you'd be like, you're doing something illegal in the middle of the street. How would you like this to play out? So, on one hand, the fireworks being illegal is actually a really useful tool for me but I don't see why they're illegal. Right? I don't see, from a public safety standpoint, like a certain percentage of people, when you give them an amount of freedom, are going to hurt themselves with it. Well, that's true of everything. You know, like we allow people to drive cars, and a certain percentage of people hurt themselves with it, hurt other people with it. They do silly things with it, right? And I think as long as people are using them in a responsible and respectful way, then fireworks really don't do that much injury to anybody. And statistically speaking, you look at the amount of people shooting off fireworks on the 4th of July in the Chicagoland area, and the amount of people that get injured, it's the dumbest of people who are doing the dumbest of things with them that are getting injured. That's been my experience. So if people are doing silly things like angling the thing at a 45-degree angle and launching aerial shells over their neighbor's house, well, they're probably going to get them taken away. And they're going to get either a local ordinance ticket or they're going to get locked up. If they're doing something malicious with fireworks, you know, people will take aerial shells, light them, and throw them into their neighbor's yard. Yeah, they're going to jail. That's, I mean, you're hurting someone. You're trying to hurt someone. You're using an incendiary device to try to hurt someone. You're going to end up getting locked up, and that's how I deal with it. But it's on a case-by-case basis. It's like anything else. People think that officer discretion is only over traffic tickets. It's entirely not true. Because someone's like, I have literally thrown crack rocks down a sewer. And they're like, you find some crack whore, and she's, you know, and you find a crack rock on her, and you're like, well, what is locking her up for the 978th time with a crack rock gonna do? Down the sewer. That's the same thing with fireworks. People are being silly, you do something about it. If they're hurting somebody, you do something about it. If they're not, and 9,000 people are using fireworks, then you don't do anything about it. It's over. Listen, you're bothering other people, so clearly it's a problem, and you're not supposed to have these anyway. It's like anything else. It's the totality of the circumstances. Happy 4th, buddy. Thank you. I'm going to eat lots of ice cream cake. Because one of my uncles makes ice cream cake, and it's fantastic. And I'm going to get really fat. I'm already pretty fat from the summer. Mr. Fusion, what is your preferred duty weapon when you can pick one? 45, 40, or 9mm? Where I'm at, I use 40. Got a whole video about why. Maybe if I remember, I'll put the link to it right up there. I use 40, mainly it's an ammunition issue and the types of things that I do. I spend a lot of time around cars, and 40 kind of bridges the right gap. And 45, most of the 45s, even the smaller ones, the grips are too big for my hand. I guess I could go to a Smith & Wesson 45, like the M&P, but I hate their triggers. I like the 40. For my purposes, it works. I also own 9mm, 45s, 44 mags, 10mm, stuff like that. So I'm not, my ego isn't like wrapped up into the caliber. Cops carry a 16-pack of fireworks with 2 spares every day. I think people's fireworks and sparklers. Wow. A 16-pack. Oh, he means a gun. Caliber debate is mute. Bullets do damage. It's accuracy that determines kill. It's not. That's not entirely true. That's the modern perception of it, and that has been perpetuated by firearms instructors that want to convince people that 9mm is always the solution for problems. If you go actually shoot things with guns, 9mm in particular caliber, particular bullet types will do things, will do all the things that any other caliber will do, pretty much, until you start getting a 10mm, 44, 41 mag. They'll do all the same things, but they won't do all of them at once. They'll do one of them pretty well, but the other ones kind of fall off the charts. But if you go up to like a 40 or a 45 or a 10mm, you then have something that penetrates like 9mm ball and also has the ballistic results that you want on the other end. If shot placement was king, we would all use 25 round 32 ACPs, but we don't. There is a balancing act that has to be done with calibers, and so there's certain calibers that are good for certain things. There's like hammers, you know. I should probably make a whole extra video about this. It's a pretty good analogy. I stole that from my buddy Derek. You've seen him in videos. He's the big guy that missed with the 44 mag in the best video. But it's like hammers, right? Like the Happy Homeowner hammer. You can take the Happy Homeowner hammer and be the happy homeowner, and you use the happy homeowner hammer your entire life, I'd be fine with it. And that's 9mm, right? It's the in-between perfect size for most things. And if you use it properly, like you could frame a house with the happy homeowner hammer that comes with the kit, right? And you could do finishing work with it, just be careful with it. But if you're a cabinet finisher, you don't use the happy homeowner hammer that comes in the Craftsman toolkit that you get on Father's Day for finishing work. And if you frame houses for a living, you use a framing hammer, and you use a roofing hammer if you're doing roofs, right? Well, it's the same thing with calibers, right? If you're hunting deer, you don't use 9mm, right? And if I was the gate guard at, a nuclear facility, I wouldn't use a 9mm hollow point as a gate guard because they have a hard time going through particular parts of cars. Doors, like people think like you shoot straight through a door and it's gonna go, 9mm goes straight through a door. Well, it doesn't always. If the door's at an angle, like you know anything about how armor works on like tanks and stuff, if the door's at an angle, it's gonna slow it down more. Not gonna do as much damage when it gets through if it gets through. Right? And so there's particular things that are good at particular jobs. And calibers are just like anything else, but it's like cars. Like people get wrapped up into what type of car it is. No, dude, use the type of car you need for the job. Like you don't bring a box truck to go racing, and you don't take a race car to help your buddy move. Like, or golf clubs, right? Like, you need one type of golf club. Like people don't go, oh, a 9-iron is the best golf club, and you're like, how do you putt? Like I don't get it. That's not the debate isn't what caliber is the best. It should be what caliber is the best for the purposes that you're using it for, right? And for most people that are going to classes and they want to get the most out of the class, 9mm is the best thing to use because you're going to learn faster using 9mm. And if you're going to carry it in a little, semi-auto pocket gun, then yeah, you probably want 9 instead of 40 in like a Smith & Wesson Shield because the 40 kicks a whole bunch. You're not going to get a whole lot more performance because the barrel isn't that much more. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But for other things make perfect sense. A 45 ACP makes very good sense for law enforcement. It goes through stuff. You ever shot a car with 45 ACP? Because I have. You know what it does? It goes through it. Come check out Phoenix, Arizona. Stay safe. It's too hot down there. They must really hate my neighbors. Probably. I feel a folder full of notice to appear tonight. Yeah, we have what's called adjudication tickets here. Adjudication tickets, which is nice because they just send the notice in the mail. It takes half my work probably from me. And you're hurting no matter what. Can't wait to be a police officer. 45. We're gonna start the caliber debate now that somebody brought it up. Hello. What's up? I bet he will be eating a long john. I don't have any the donuts make a funny thing for videos, but I don't really eat a lot of donuts unless it's day shift. Because there's a place that gives away donuts. I love donuts, but I try not to eat them when I'm on afternoons or midnights. I'm actually pretty good when I'm on midnights about the donuts thing because nobody has good donuts, right? Like if I'm gonna eat calories, I want them to be calories that are like good, delicious calories. That's I'm with us, Mike. Other than that, I don't care what fireworks you set off. Just saw 401's face reveal. I did too. I'm kind of upset that 401 is better looking than me. I was hoping he would be ugly, and that's why he wasn't showing his face. Oh well. Finally catch you live. Hey, nice to have you. What is your worst horror story about fireworks? What have you seen? My worst horror story about fireworks was actually at my father-in-law's house. Somebody lit an aerial shell, didn't get into the tube, and dropped it into the bucket with the other aerial shells, with predictable results. Crank that AC, man, feel your pain. I've been living in the 90s, soon to be 100 in Central Florida. It's only like 85 here, but I'm fat, hairy, very warm. How long is the police training in the U.S.? My academy, I think, was 14 weeks. Different places, it's different lengths of time. I know some places it's only like 8 weeks, and some it's like 24 weeks. It's crazy. The Illinois State Police I know is like 8 or 9 months. They're nuts. Been watching your vids since your Raven Concealment review. You had like 11 subscribers. Awesome to see how you've grown. Great job, man. Thanks, John. Thank you for sticking around that long a time. I know some of those videos really sucked. I had been working on remastering some of them, especially the education ones. Like if you go back and look, the original ones have been pulled, and then I compressed them. I basically took them and put them back in the new video editor and took all the stuff out, which is the good thing about editing. I sound more articulate edited. 83 overcast and 80% humidity. Yeah. About what it is here. Why did you decide to become a police officer? I decided to become a police officer because when I was leaving high school, I wanted to join the Marine Corps. That was the thing to do at the time, was to join the military. And I couldn't get into any military branches. I even tried the Coast Guard and stuff that I really wasn't interested in. Because at 17, I was really, really I wanted to get into the military. And that was like the easiest way into public service of any type. And I had surgery on my feet when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and because of that, they were like, no, we can't take you. At the time, I was like, really? Like, I go backpacking. Like real talk, up mountains backpacking. Like, I'll be fine. They're like, no, we can't take you. Everybody said that. I figured, like, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, or someone would take me at the time. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, you had surgery on your feet, and it's, like, not 100% correct. And I was like, I'll get a note from a doctor. And they're like, no. So, I went to college, and I was going to work for the Department of the Interior Fish and Wildlife Management, like going after people that poach endangered species and stuff. And when I was in school for criminal justice and I was minoring in human resources management, I started applying at local police departments, and the police department that I'm at now called me for a job, and they were like, hey, you want to make some money? And I was going to community college and taking satellite classes from Old Dominion University, and I was like really trying to make it by. I was driving a truck, trying to like pay bills and stuff, and I was like, yeah. And it ended up paying really well, and I ended up really being really happy where I was at, and that's how I became a cop where I'm at, for a city. I know it's not the most interesting story, but it's true. I waved to a cop and he eyeballed me. I am trying to see the good in cops, but all I keep seeing is dickheads. Try blowing him a kiss. I do that to people in traffic and they normally laugh. Do you have thoughts about the use of the asps, when to draw it, when to use it, etc.? The asp? I just don't use them. I don't use them. I don't use friction lock batons. I know they have the Talon. Some people like the Talon one. It collapses. I like the push button closing batons. I actually really like straight batons, but they're a pain in the butt. The baton is a pretty high level of force relative to all of the other less lethal force levels that we have. The best use I found of the baton is when there's like a bunch of people fighting, right? So there's like a big event and there's like 20 people fighting, and the baton gives you the flexibility to be able to use it as a blocking device, to just push people back, because if you take the baton, hold it between your hands, and you push against people, I mean, it hurts. So, it's a steel rod. You push them back. And even the little, like, 21-inch batons, you can use that pretty effectively for crowd control, although I'd rather the big wood one, but the little ones work in a pinch. And if there's multiple people fighting, you obviously can't tase 6 people, but you can whack 6 people. The baton doesn't run out of ammo. Like it isn't a single cartridge, you gotta reload another cartridge. With a taser, the best I've gotten is like you turn it sideways, you hit 2 people at once, so when they're fighting, both get zapped. But that's kind of hard to do, and you can only kind of get 2 people. You have to have 2 ends of a bunch of people fighting. With the baton, you can use, and then if the situation warrants a higher level of force, you can move up the force continuum with batons, and you can move down the force continuum with batons pretty easily. I really like batons, but you have to be, the batons are a matter of being skilled in their use and having more experience in their use to get better with them. I found that using them for big fights is the best thing you can do with them. That's what I really like them for, and that's why I still carry an extendable baton, even though it's becoming less common for cops to carry extendable batons. Because I just see someone else working on the holiday. How goes it, Tommy? Yesterday was pretty rough, and today's probably going to be pretty rough too. I'm working midnights right now. Do departments not go to 9mm most of the time because of departments not go to 9mm most of the time because of quantity discounts? When you buy things in enough quantity, it doesn't matter what it is. You're saving a negligible amount of money between $9.40 and $45, but for a bean counter, that makes sense. I think some of it has to do with finances. Like some agencies are going to go to 9mm because of finances, because 9mm is cheaper. But a lot of them go to it for the same reason that private instructors have pushed toward 9mm, and that is because it is easier to get people to do stuff shooting 115 grain ball, standard pressure. It just is. I can't argue that it's easier to get people to feel like they're good with a gun, but then if you're going to do that, you have to then give them 115 grain standard pressure as their duty ammo, otherwise you're not getting the advantage of it. And people argue that all the time, like go try it. Get 124 grain or 147 grain plus P plus that a lot of agencies are using for their duty ammo, and then go get 115 grain ball ammo, standard pressure, and then shoot them side by side. Like load them, stack them separately in the magazine. You're going to see that there's a completely different recoil impulse to them. If you're going to do that, like my high power, right? It's only good for standard pressure loads, so I carry a standard pressure load in the high power, right? And that's fine. Then I'm getting all the advantage of it. Like if it's a big heavy metal gun and I'm shooting standard pressure 9mm in it, man, I can slam with that 9mm high power. And so I understand why people like 9, but you can't shoot standard pressure 9 in training because it's really cheap, and then shoot really high pressure 9 on the street and think that your training is preparing you for the street. That's just not how it works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, right? 5.7 is some deadly stuff. It blows holes in things, but it just kind of blows holes in things. It's like 22. I think 22 mag. It blows holes in things. 5.7 just does a better job blowing holes in armor or intermediate barriers and sailing through. But as far as the damage it does, like to a person when it hits, it's not as effective as people would think. Happy Independence Day. Thank you. What is your favorite firearm in general? Pistol, long gun, etc. I like my Smith 686. It's fun. If I had to go just shoot something for fun, that's what it'd be. My comment wasn't meant to be inflammatory. I'm just using whatever. I like 45 use. It uses good use. Whatever, man. It's not. I'm not upset about this. I've stopped being upset about the caliber debate a long time ago. I just think it's silly that people just make stuff up. Like, I shoot all of it. I don't have a dog in the fight. Farmers still use 9mm most of the time because it's so too small and does not have enough power. It has enough power to do a lot of stuff, just not everything. And the same argument can be made about 45. Like, there's enough rounds there to do most stuff, but not everything. Right? If you're gonna have a running gun battle in the middle of the street, then you probably want a 9mm, right? If you're gonna have to shoot through a car, you probably want a 45. What do you pick? Well, you pick whatever you think you got a higher chance of needing. Use a rifle if you want power. Yeah, that's true. I prefer 12-gauge shotguns. You'd be amazed at what 12-gauge shotguns will do. Shoot rifle round if you want power, speed, superior diameter, weight. Like I said, 12-gauge slug. I've been really impressed with the results of 12-gauge slug in the real world. It's not popular to say anymore, but you really can't argue with the ballistic performance of 12-gauge slug for most things. Unless you're talking about distance, which I never am, because distance are cops shooting people at, shooting anything at. 25, 50 yards. Dude, I can make a 12-gauge shotgun sing with slugs at 50 yards. Who knows? Just wait until he starts the stream. Lost a job due to more powerful 45 because I wasn't buying 9mm. Okay. Once I got my chip card on the 27th, I can apply to departments. Been running in shape for 21 years old. Please respond. Please respond to what? Good luck with your running. I don't know what else to say. Nice beard. Thank you. I grew it myself. I'm in Phoenix too, not the business. You need to do a colon with Officer 401, please. I think I'll just not do a colon at all. Hi, I'm a British police officer. Nice to meet you. Collaboration. That would be fun, but he's like big time and I'm not. I remember when I was, oh my god, it's Dan. I remember when I was young and stupid, every 4th we would take the shells and extend the fuses to like 6 feet and place them on people's cars. Yeah, that's exciting, Dan. It's a bad idea. FFT, what's up? And I'm fat and hairy too, don't feel bad. Nice to know, Phil. Whale 2, why do you have a picture of Donald Trump on your account when your account cares? Doesn't make much sense, really. If you wanted to see some nice fireworks, should have been at the Parliament building in Canada on the 1st. I don't know. I don't keep track of Canada's birthday. Ever met any Australian police officers? Not in real life. But that's the wonderful thing about doing this, is I get to talk to them all the time. When you run someone's information on a traffic stop, does all of their past arrests come up? Only if I ask. If I ask for a criminal history background, then most of the stuff comes up. The automated stuff isn't automated forever, so like I don't know if it was in the 60s. In Southside Chicago, how can you tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots? That comes with experience. The telling the difference between fireworks and gunshots comes with experience, but the more you hear gunshots in real life, outdoors, the easier it is to tell the difference. I think most people that go to a range can tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots. FFT, what are you, a patrol cop state trooper? No, I'm not a state trooper. I've written like 4 traffic tickets in 6 months. In fact, I don't think it's been that much. And I think 3 of them were from an accident where a guy slammed a car into a building. And I was like, I should probably write you a ticket. I work as a municipal police officer. I work for a city. Happy 4th, brother. Be safe. You do the same. Start the police academy here in a week. Any advice? I got offered a job already with an agency and it will be sponsored through the academy. Cool. My advice is buy your clothes big because you have to layer them and you're going to gain weight. If you weren't from working in Chicago, would you still live there? No. No. Why would I do that? No. 5 foot 2 inch cop pulls a baton during a riot. Sounds like a good idea to me. You would be amazed how terrified people get. You work on a big department? I wouldn't say it's big. I wouldn't say it's small. I would say relative to the majority of the departments in the country, right? Because I know I'm talking to people from all over. Relative to the majority of the departments in the United States, it's big, but it's not that big. It's not like New York City or LA big. Have you ever fought a guy who was 6'2"? I have fought people all the way up to 7 feet tall and all the way down to like 4 feet tall. And they all went to jail. Happy 4th. Happy 4th. What do you think about UK police only having selective armed officers? You know what? You'd have to ask one of them about that. I don't know. I've never even been to the UK. Like, I talked to some of them, and they're like, we don't really need guns. Well, if they don't think they need guns, then whatever. That's their deal. I wouldn't do the job without a gun. But then that's coming from here, you know? I wouldn't walk down the street without a gun. Do you patrol? Because most of the departments don't allow facial hair. I do, and if you Google most of the large agencies in the Midwest, many of them allow glorious facial hair like I have. So, type in cop beard, and a bunch of patrolmen with beards are going to show up. I don't know where this comes from. I know a lot of small towns are like, it's all professional. It's probably the same ones that make people cover up tattoos. Double lot for the win. I actually prefer 1 ounce all lead slug. What is your opinion on concealed carry? I like it. Anyone else getting lag? Yeah, the internet on my phone isn't always good. Taking the physical, this is the same guy that said he was applying. Taking the physical, running, push-ups, sit-ups on the 27th of this month. Once I pass, I can get a chip card. I can apply to departments to start academy once I have a chip card. I don't know what a chip card is. In Illinois, an agency has to hire you, and then they send you to the academy. So I don't know anything about these cards and like sponsoring yourself to the academy like in Michigan. I've never done it. And I wouldn't want to tell you something that I wasn't sure about. Do you think criminal justice is okay for being a police officer? You mean like a degree? It's okay. If I had to go back to college and do it all over again, I wouldn't even minor in it. I wouldn't even bother. He's an FTO. Yes, I am. Last I checked. Yes, I still am. Happy 4th of July, my dude. Happy 4th, bro. The stream is so lagged. I am sorry. I don't deal with the towers. Like, that's way outside my purview. No, there's no general answer for this, but can you be a police officer in the U.S. if you have asthma? I know plenty of guys that are cops that have asthma. It depends on how serious the asthma is. New South Wales, Australia, we are supplied all the equipment, so we do not need to go buy it all. That's good. There's a town just south of me that they give their guys everything. Absolutely everything. And they get a little voucher. If they need something, they just go to the supply house. They can put it on a running PO that they have with the supply house, which is great, but I don't have that. If you could live, work anywhere in the U.S., where would you live and what would you do? I really liked Indianapolis. I went there on vacation. I know it's weird to say you went on vacation in Indiana, but I went to Indianapolis, went to the Indianapolis Zoo and saw like the World War I memorial in the old town and went shopping and stuff, and I really liked Indianapolis. I met a couple of Indianapolis cops a few months ago when I was down there, and actually it was over Christmas when I was down there, and they were all really nice, and they were like, I was like, how does it work down here? And they're like, it's a good place to work for. So, I don't know. If I had to move somewhere else, if I had to move out of the Chicagoland area, I would probably try going down to Indianapolis. Plus, it would be close enough where I can still come up here and visit family. I like the county sheriffs don't allow beards. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it? I know plenty of county sheriffs that have beards. Is that a 360 PD in your pocket? It always is. Can you recommend a gun quick for my first CCW? I really like the SIG P320s. Okay, then get one. Anything I could recommend would be stuff that I think is good, that works for me. I think if you're looking for a gun for concealed carry, what you should do is go to a range that allows you to rent guns, and rent a bunch of them, and see what you like, and then buy that. How many officers work in your department? That would kind of give it away, but I will tell you that it is more than 75 and less than 200. So that's the approximate size. I call it it's like a mid-sized department, right? Because where I'm at, most places have, between 25 and 300 guys. And then you get the real, there's really, really big places like Chicago that have 12,000 people. But it's, relative to a lot of places, it's big, but it's not, I don't consider it. At Private Busquero, or whatever his name is, I don't know where you're at, but I'm from Boston, and BPD allows asthma as long as you have it under control. I think that's the way it is in most places. Is night patrol more scary than day? I prefer working at night because then you know if people are dangerous. If someone's out walking the streets at 3 a.m., there's a good chance they're dangerous. Maybe not necessarily dangerous to you, but they're going to be dangerous to somebody. Otherwise, it would be out at 3 a.m. Or they're crazy. Is the academy hard? Academic, firearm, evac, DT? Not really. It's hard because it's stressful. You'd be a cop if you are bipolar? I don't know. I've never met a bipolar. Well, maybe not if you're diagnosed. I have met a bipolar cop before. Maybe not if you're diagnosed. How many departments have you worked for? 1. What are your thoughts on all the tactical doofuses popping up? I'm talking about the 300-pound guys who barely go up a flight of stairs, but the big calibers and all the latest tactical gear. Whatever makes them happy. What do you think about guys that collect baseball cards? But I see them at, when people are like that, I go well, all right, you're collecting baseball cards. You know a lot about baseball cards. See, here's the thing is that I like to just try things, find things that I have in common with people, right? So if the big 300-pound guy at the gun shop that can barely walk up a flight of stairs wants to talk to me about guns, we're talking about guns. I like guns. Talk about guns. I don't care how fat he is, but I'm not going to run to his house for help. Back and forth between 115 and 124 grain, can't decide if I really see a difference between them. I shoot weekly with hollow point round designed for range use with freedom munitions. Whatever you like. I mean, between 115 and 124, the 124 gives you a slightly better range of things that it'll do, right? And 147 can sometimes, with some designs of rounds, they don't actually work as well because they don't have the speed. 124s and 125s are kind of your middle ground with it. If you can get a all copper hollow point, they tend to work best going through intermediate barriers in 9mm. So if I was going to use a 9mm for work and I was allowed to choose my own ammo, I would probably use a 124 grain like a Corbon DPX or something like that. It was all copper hollow point. Work for Stratford PD, Connecticut, and I have asthma and is under control. Cool. What do you think about DAS, a pistol from the 80s being used as a duty weapon? If I ever get into a gunfight, I'm fucked. No, you're not. Well, I mean, maybe you are. The gun wouldn't have anything to do with that. Can you be a cop with a lazy eye? I don't know. Never seen it. I like the 22 Ruger Mark V. Cool. Well, once you're doing a Glock 21, that is my duty weapon. I don't know. I own one. I like them. My buddy loves them. Uses them at work all the time. He's like, there's no reason to use anything but a 45. We're on a lot of cars. 45 doesn't give a shit about your technology. I'm like, well, can't argue with that. You hit somebody with 45 ball, it's going to work. And it worked just as well today as it did 100 years ago. If you like it, use it. It's happy 4th. And asked someone to send me to the academy. Did you always plan on being an FTO? No. I had no intention of doing this. Is it Rockford? I don't work for Rockford. If I did work for Rockford, I'd have to tell you that I didn't work there. We've gone over that before. Even if you guessed right, I'd just tell you no. I support the police. Thank you. I diagnosed, I figured I'd fail for other reasons. I don't assume you're going to fail something for other reasons. But talk to your doctor. See what they say. Please do a video on police explorers. When I have more experience dealing with police explorers, I will. I've had a cadet in my car 3 times, and that's it. You ever recommended someone get out of the career field as an FTO? Yes, I have, and they don't ever listen. I do what I can. To whoever asked about the 320, I love the P320. I shoot for competition for CCW. I carry an M&P shield because I'm a large guy and the single stack weapons is concealed. Yeah. One person's experiences. I've taken guys to the range, they'll ask about concealed carry guns. I take them to the range and they're like hell-bent on whatever. Like, I'm going to use a SIG 226. I take them to the range and I'm like, we're going to try a few different things. Like, let's get a box of 9mm, we're going to try 3 different 9mm guns. And they walk out with a Glock 19. They go from, I'm going to get this, I'm hell-bent on it. I'm like, try a few other things. And they go buy a Glock 19. And I've had other people who are like, I want a Glock 19 because it's cool, blah, 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 blah. And they walk out with an SP 101. Dude, use what you like. Chances are, I mean, off-duty or concealed carry, chances are you having the gun is going to solve the problem. Chances, right? So what you use when you actually have to pull the trigger is a matter of your preference. Off-duty and for concealed carry, you're not fighting for king and country, you're fighting for you. Use what you want to use, if you can, if you're allowed to. In Poland, the police are sucked. Are there applications available? Are they hot? The people that are sucking them, are they hot? At 3M, there are 4 types of people: cops, career crooks, and crooks. Or career cooks and crooks. I used to hate police, then I stopped breaking the law, and now they don't bother me. Seems logical. Should agencies issue body cams? I don't know, I don't use one. Would you rather carry a 9mm or a 45 as an officer? Given the ammo that I have right now available to me, 45. What are your thoughts on reserve officers? We don't really use them that much here. They're not really allowed to do anything here, and they have to be trained like full-timers, so a lot of places don't use reserves anymore. We have part-timers. Part-timers aren't bad as long as... I hate to say as long as they know their place, but it kind of is as long as they know their place. Like, if you do this part-time or you're a reserve, that's great, and there's a lot of good uses for them, and they do a valuable public service, but sometimes we have places that they put their part-timers, like they make them supervisors over full-time people that do it all the time. The part-timer will work like 1 day a month because he's a political hire, and that's not good. But overall, my experience with part-timers has been pretty positive. I would want 9mm, my department won't let us. Hey, dude, I've said before, if my department came and handed me a Smith & Wesson Model 10 38 Special in a skinny barrel, I'd be like, come on. I'd get all pissy, and I'd be like, paycheck's still the same, right? Alright, whatever. I mean, it's a gun. You know how to use it, you're gonna do well with it. 147 has issues with knocking down steel at range. I honestly don't see why that's pertinent to anything. I'm not shooting at steel at range. You shoot any SPRs or own any silencers? We don't own silencers in Illinois. It's kind of a pain in the butt. SPRs you can get, but it's not really worth it, especially when you can get those pistol things that aren't rifles. Like, I don't know why you'd even want to get an SPR anymore. How easy is it for you to detect a horizontal gaze nystagmus on DUI stops? This assumes that I make DUI stops and that horizontal gaze nystagmus is something that you're going to do most of the time when you do a DUI stop. Most people that I lock up for being drunk are like falling over and have crashed into something, to be honest with you. Nystagmus is pretty easy to pick up. You get past 45 degrees and eye starts bouncing. But obviously, the drunker they are, the more it's bouncing. Newspaper carriers, yeah, at 5 a.m., the newspaper carriers, it's funny, you can always tell the new guy, you can still stop the newspaper carrier at 5 a.m. You'd be like, yeah, he's driving the wrong way down a one-way street. Yeah, he's delivering newspapers. Does the department have a SWAT team, or does the county handle it? We have a regional SWAT team. I was on it for a while, and it's a bunch of different agencies come together. There's a population of like 750,000 people. They all come together. On the south side, we have what's called CERT, and then there's another one, NIPUS or something, on the north side. And like all the suburban agencies and municipalities are all part of these regional teams that take care of it. The county also has a SWAT team, and their task forces use their county resources, and our agencies can also call in the county resources, but they actually help each other out. Like if the county is at training, the regional team will hop in and take over for the stuff the county would do, and vice versa. There's a lot of work to do on the south side of Chicago. Do I know any officers with epilepsy? No. What are your thoughts on private security companies conducting special patrol alongside law enforcement, the title given to some of the special police? All we have here that are like special police is the railroad, and I never really had a problem with the railroad. But private security companies, like I said with my interview with Randy Husher, which we've got more of those videos coming out, public-private partnerships are important. I don't think necessarily that security needs to be given the authority that law enforcement has, but I think working together with security companies that have the authority that the private landowners possess is also important. Honorary critical duty 135 grades my duty ammo. It's great. That's bad and Spear Gold Dot. Use both of them. 40 or 45 as an officer. Don't care. My dad has some SBRs, 9mm AR-15, 9mm Scorpion. You know, a 9mm AR, SBR really doesn't do anything for me since I can go get an MP5 out of the locker. Would you rather have a 9mm AR-15 or an MP5? I'd rather have the MP5. It's cool. Hey, I hope you read this. I'm 4 weeks into field training, and I'm wondering if you have any tips on learning geography faster and easier. Easier, no. Faster, yes. On your day off, get your butt in your car, and drive around your town. And if it's not a terrible town, bring a radio with, if they let you take one. And listen to the calls that come out, and just drive to those calls as they're coming in. Just drive from call to call, just like you would on a daily shift. But drive to all the calls instead of just the ones that you would be assigned, like you were if you were working. And that's the best way I have to tell you to learn geography faster. Need to run soon, but wanted to say that you're keeping perspective on a career full of tragedy. Video is a masterpiece. I've recommended it to a few people I know. It's helped us. I'm glad that it helps. It was just kind of something I threw together when I was on vacation. I'm glad people enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. How old were you when you first shot a gun? I don't remember. I was really young. We had a newspaper carrier, 1015 Mark Squad, parked on the street a few months ago. Yeah, that'll happen. As a newspaper carrier, I called the police more than a dozen times, mostly passed out drunk drivers in their cars. Dude, that's like every day for me. People getting drunk and passed out in their car. I don't know what the deal is. Like, go be drunk in your house. You've been with the same department your whole career. I have remained at the same department my whole career. Not saying I haven't worked with other people, but I have kept the same job as my primary employment. I wish you had more subs, but it's nice that you can read everyone's chat, unlike Officer Forum. Hey, listen. When I started this, I said if I got 600 subscribers, I'd be really happy. I have like 29,000. Really happy. Fine. And I'm happy for him because what he does is mostly like the message about law enforcement and getting it out there to people who are our detractors, right? He's trying to him, like the cop, Fuzz Fam, what they're doing is they're trying to bring the human aspect of law enforcement to people. And that's a different thing than what I'm doing. I'm doing a niche educational channel, right? And talking about the minutia of law enforcement, the technical aspects of it. So I would love if I had 400,000 subscribers or however many he has, but I'm also really happy to have the 28,000 of you. 50 people that just will stop what they're doing on the 4th of July to listen to me babble for 45 minutes. MP5 or Chris Vector? Our MP5s are 25 years old and they don't crack. So I'll go with an MP5. Unless the people that make the Chris Vector are listening, in which case, Chris Vector, send me one. Thank you for your service, sir. Hey, you don't have to thank me. I love what I do. Fog or spray OC pepper? I like the string. Would you rather have no kneecaps or no elbows? That's a very weird question. I barely have kneecaps now, so we'll go with that. I think security guards should also take psychological exams. Many security guards looking for trouble. You know what? There's hacks in every profession, and when you have a profession that is kind of a race to the bottom, like security can sometimes be because they're high turnover rates, and the fact that they're trying to make as much money for the company as humanly possible and pay as little to the guards most of the time. Sometimes you get that. They'll make big concessions just to get bodies in a spot. MP5 has supposedly killed Osama. I thought it was an HK-416, but I wasn't there. Ever had experience with the private security patrol running code 3-3 or assigned patrol area? The railroad police will sometimes. We don't have private security patrols, and if they did, they would go to jail. You can't just put red lights on a siren on a car and drive on a street in Illinois if you're not an emergency vehicle. have a question. Are you a cop, and do you and other cops go out every day hunting? All right, so I don't know how to ban them. Yeah, that's upsetting. Hold on. How do I ban this person? No, that's not right. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Alright, he's blocked. There we go. OC, sprayer, taser. Different strokes for different folks. Different things for different jobs. Would it be okay if your first time shooting a gun was in the academy? I guess. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's a tool like any other tool. They're going to teach you about it. But you need to stay on that training because it's a tool that could become potentially very dangerous if you don't know how to use it. How often do you do range training? How often is tactical training as opposed to stag training? We do training at least every month. It's at least an 8-hour training every month. And then stuff on my own time, and then go to classes. I don't know, a lot. A whole lot. Illinois has very stringent requirements for training for cops. I do use a lapel mic. It's just the Motorola microphone, like the public safety mic, and then I clip it on my vest, and I still just use a hair tie. Have you done canine training? I have helped canine officers with their training, but I don't do canine because my wife is like really allergic. Would you ever take a bribe, use Morse code in your eyes for safety purposes? I don't know Morse code, and no, I wouldn't take a bribe. That would be dumb. To take a bribe would be really dumb, especially since we have pensions still. Like, you can't. I'm gonna give up my public pension for a bribe. Get out of here. It's a perishable skill and needs to be maintained diligently. It does. What's UPAN? I watch you from border city with Mexico. I'm a college student looking forward to becoming a border patrol station. Okay. Happy 4th of July to all. Stay safe. All right. My wife has been calling me consistently through this entire speed, so I have to go. You guys, be safe. Don't shoot aerial shells at your neighbor's house, and don't shoot the bottle rockets and stuff into passing cars and stuff like that. All right? You guys take it easy, and I'm going to see you guys. I'll be releasing another video with Randy, more interview on Thursday, and this one is about bad security companies and the ridiculous shit that we've seen dealing with bad security companies. And I think you guys are going to find it interesting. Take it easy.